Hi, this is the first volume that we found. And essentially we chopped actually vertically, drawing lines parallel to the z-axis. We can chop in other ways, and all I want to do is just show you how this would work. Let's say, for example, let's just draw some axes in here, that I wanted to do it in the order dy first. Well, you're supposed to draw lines parallel to the y-axis, like that and like that. So we're setting up an integral, trying to have lots of room for limits of integration. Right? And what we need to know is what the y value is as it enters and what the y value is as it leaves. Well, we know that z equals 25 minus x squared minus y squared. We have to solve that for y. And what we're going to get is that y is equal to plus or minus the square root of 25 minus x squared minus z. And we know how this works. The negative one, the one on the left, it goes on here. And the positive one, the one on the right, goes up here. Now there's supposed to be some smushing going on to the point where we don't see y at all anymore. And so what we're going to ask ourselves is we're actually looking from the positive y-axis down onto the xz plane. What would we actually see? What we would see is the shadow of this whole thing, but when y is 0. Now, if we were smushing to something else, not y equals 0, that'd be different, but you can actually see that if we smush from both sides, what we would see is the shadow of that. So I put in y equals 0, so I get z equals 25 minus x squared, like that. I know what the graph of that looks like. You can see it actually looks like a parabola. Looks like this. Z goes up here, x goes over here. We can chop in any way we want to, but let's just do the hardest way each time, right? The z way would be easy, the x way would be hard, so I'm going to chop parallel to the x-axis. I need to know what x is as it enters. I need to know what x is as it leaves. X as it enters, I need to solve for x. So x is going to be plus or minus the square root of 25 minus x squared. I'm glad I have 2 because the negative one, the one on the left, goes down here. The one on the right, the positive one, goes up here. And we did dx. And now we want to do dz. We can either look at it or we can smush. Why don't we smush? Smush is usually a better way to go if you were doing this in more than 3 dimensions. We would have to do this anyways. If I smush this down, all I'm going to see now is this interval, like that. So I smush this down, and all I'm going to see, nope, I'm going to smush up to here. That's what I'm going to smush, right? So I'm going to smush right there when z is 0 here. Here, z equals 25, because that's what happens to this parabola when x is 0. So the smallest z possible there is going to be 0. The biggest z possible is going to be 25. And we chopped very strangely, but this is actually how strange chopping goes, but it's good, always good to practice this. You don't want to get locked into thinking something always has to be a certain way, and always trying something 2 ways is a good way to avoid that.